Howdy.
What's up?
Welcome everyone to another edition of Supernatural. We
Oh,
are.
wait a minute. Here they are.
Here they are.
Hi. Oh, wow. Look at this. We're live. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the show. Oh, wait.
Just in time.
Adrian, you changed a little bit since the last time I saw you.
Got a hell of a lot uglier, didn't she? So, hey, Jeremy, I just wanted to put this out to your dad. Happy birthday. Fantastic. I'm excited for you to get to go and do the honor flight and all that other stuff, man. I think that is so damn cool.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
amazing.
That's less than
So-
3 weeks.
I know that that is one of the things that I miss most about having a bike is going to the being able to lead the procession of all the men and women who took the honor flight, riding from up here up north all the way down to DIA. I mean, there would be like hundreds of bikes that would lead all the cars with the veterans in the honor flight. So that was one of the coolest things that we got to do. So, but to your dad, happy birthday. Now I'm going to get out of this seat. I've been in it long enough. I've done enough damage to my floor.
Okay.
I'm going to say the same thing too. Happy birthday to your dad, also, Jeremy. So I was supposed to say it yesterday, but getting back into doing presentations, I've had little interaction. So happy birthday to him as well.
It's been a busy couple of days, hasn't it?
Oh my God. It's been so intense and crazy. I didn't think I was going to start off Nick Files this crazy. So I didn't think had very limited time to make the first slideshow for season 3.
Well, after seeing you on Tuesday, I was thinking, hey, no way he's doing a show on Wednesday.
Oh God. Yeah. Tell me about it.
You said you were going to do your show yesterday. I almost messaged you, dude, don't.
No, I did still successfully.
Yeah.
What's up, Jan?
Seeing you holding that
Hello.
for all that long and then doing a show the next.
Oh yeah, when I was holding my eye, which you can't see it too well, but my eye is a lot better than what it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, that looks better.
It still hurts, but it's not terrible.
Well, just remember, these podcasts are not that important.
I know. Yeah, I know.
How many times have I told you that?
A lot.
So let's welcome Dennis back to the show.
You look a lot better than you did the last time.
Oh, really? Because I don't feel a lot better.
You look a lot better.
Well, must be the Hawaiian shirt.
That always does the trick.
That's it. Yeah. I'm actually doing okay. Yeah, a lot of drama here at the Abbey, as I was explaining to the guys before we kicked off, and a lot of big changes has happened here, and I'm going to share what I can because I kind of have a gag order more or less. Tell you what the newest, latest, and greatest situation is, and what's going on here, and the changes that have been made.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that last video I posted with the water damage and all. It's just heartbreaking. Well, it got me into a lot of hot water, which I knew when I posted it. I was stepping on toes. Management and owners did not like it, and they didn't take well to it. The community is in an uproar because they're allowing an icon to go to such disrepair.
Right.
And what are they doing to fix it? So there's a lot of heat going on to the local managers as well as the higher ups and the management company and the owners. And it's my understanding they actually have, and I've heard this story for 4 years, they have a buyer, but they're supposed to be closing in the next 90 days. And hopefully, I hope it happens from one standpoint, because the and a lot of you, Jeremy didn't really go into a lot about who I am and what I do, but I'm the more or less the caretaker here at the Holy Cross Abbey Monastery in Canyon City, Colorado. It's a 200-acre monastery campus that was desanctified in 1998. As a consequence, we've got a 100-year-old monastery building that is just under 100,000 square feet. A lot of building, and that's just one building on an entire campus. And I run the ghost hunts and tours and stuff through the monastery. And what I've done is donate 100% of all the funds that I make back to the Abbey here for restoration and repairs. However, a few years back, I found out none of that money was ever going to restoration and repair. At that point, coming out of COVID and whatnot, I have a network myself, the Simply Ghost Network, and they're a group of, like you guys, a group of wonderful people that have had my back and have put their own monies and their own blood, sweat, and tears into coming and helping me take care of things. They come to my events, they pay out the money, knowing or thought we knew that that money was going towards the repairs and whatnot. But they did it freely and on a volunteer basis, which I am a volunteer as well. In fact, you see, I'm in my RV right now because I've been locked out of the building since the video. I can't go into the building freely like I used to. I can go back in and because I still have 12 events that were paid for from now into I think the last one is the end of July, the last week of July. I've got Enigmatic Explorers coming in for a week. When that's done, I'm not taking any more bookings because I have to reevaluate myself and the situation and what's going on. But that's the only reason I'm still here, and the only reason or only time that I'll get access is when there's a scheduled investigation going to take place at the Holy Cross Abbey that's already booked. Then we will honor that, and those people that have bookings don't freak out because you're still good. Everything's a done deal. But what they did to me was, all this effort that I put into the monastery for the last 14 years, again, has been all the money has been given back to the monastery. But then we got into the COVID situation and whatnot, and I was getting this help coming in. I decided I would take 30%, and that's when I put in all the cameras upstairs. And we got 28 cameras throughout the floors and 2 static cameras that I can plug in and plug out as needed. And all that was done with that money, that percentage that I was keeping out of the proceeds. That, like, if you pay $600 for, which is the going rate right now to rent the building out for the night, 30% of that goes to me, which is what, $171 or something. That's $171 buys my cables, my cameras. It pays for the people that have to come in from Denver and Colorado Springs to help me take care of that event. And I give them, gas money and food money and make it worth their time to come up as well. So I'm not keeping that money. It's going back towards expenses. In fact, I don't, still to this day, I don't keep any of the money. I mean, really, I hand it out to everybody else, or I spend it back in the monastery. Sometimes I'll even I'll use it, and mostly my Twitch streamers, they'll take care of any equipment that I need that I want to hand out. You come and you don't have a EMF detector, or you don't have a K2 meter. You want to borrow a parabolic mic. This was bought through my streamers. They paid for that. They all of a sudden I got a wish list on Amazon, and people start sending me packages, and that goes back to the stream and back to the good of the monastery. Now, what it's come down to is for you to come in, you do your event. Now I have to buy the liability insurance out of pocket now, whereas I was covered as a liaison for the Abbey. Their insurance covered everything that I did, but they changed that. I pissed them off, and they said, "Nope, you're going to have your events. You're going to have to go out and get your own insurance to cover your people." So, and they first told me that I was going to have to tell all my people that have already booked that they're going to have to come in here with their own liability insurance and provide them with the documentation showing that they have it, and put the Abbey as one of their whatever credit. I forget the verbiage, but so that they knew that it was official. And I said, I can't go to these people who have already paid the $600. In some cases, the Enigmatic Explorers, for instance, they're going to be here for a week. Their tally is well over a couple of $1,000. I can't go in there and say, oh, by the way, now I need your insurance. You need to get insurance to be here, or you're going to have to pay me a couple of $100 to get insurance. But they're not going to let you in until you. I can't do that to people that have already paid.
Yeah.
So what I've done is decide, well, I'll go ahead and pay out of pocket. So I'm paying the insurance and covering everybody. So that puts all the liability back onto me. And it's ridiculous to me because I'm the guy, I'm doing this as a fundraiser for them. Why am I paying the insurance? Why am I,
Yeah.
I'm not a rich man. I live in an RV and I live off a disability and I do it for the love of the building, and which is all I've ever done for this. I've never done it for any personal agenda. Um, I've done it because I am drawn to this building for whatever reason. Um, and I want to see it around. I want to see it last. I want to see it for, as I was telling you guys, I want my grandkids to come here 100 years from now and see it. Say my great grandpa, he helped keep this place together. But I think I'm living in an illusion because now that I see the artist's new rendition of what's going to happen to this property, if the new owners do indeed buy the place, it's going to be a good thing because they're going to maintain the outside of the building, but they're ripping out everything on the inside of the building. It's going to become a high-end hotel with those posh little stores down on the lower deck. There's going to be all this farmland that I have around me right now. There's and you can. This is public record. You can pull up the artist rendition from the city hall here and the city administrators who've approved the zoning. This will become 800 private condominiums over here. All the fields around us. You guys have all been here, so you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of farmland around me. It won't be. It won't be once this gets taken over.
When they do that, what's going to become of that cemetery?
That's what I wondered.
That's what I was going to ask too.
They're not taking in any more new burials. That was actually cut off. The last one was, I want to say, Father Williams, and he was the last interment in 2021, and that was the last person to be buried there. They won't take any more. As far as what happens there, I can't. Again, somebody gets a hold of this, it's going to probably create me grief, but I don't care. I'm not going to live long enough to be sued anyway. So, I have no idea what they say depends on who they're facing. You'll hear this from them, and you turn your back, and you'll hear that as they're telling them.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the truth is. If they'll exhume the bodies and move them, I don't think. Then they would have a huge fight from the archdiocese. I believe that would be a major problem that they do anything with that cemetery. but it's going to be surrounded by urban sprawl.
I can't imagine making that building into anything else. I can't imagine somebody spending the night there and spending it in peace, because I know those spirits are not going to like that, allow that,
Yeah.
or be calm about it.
And that's where I get away with, you guys have seen me in there. I'm in by myself any time of the day, any part of the building. They love me. They know that I'm doing things for them on their behalf, and my heart is true. And that's what breaks it right now, is the fact that I've lived under this self illusion for all this time, because I've been patting myself on the back. What a great job you're doing, because I don't look at, I don't do it for you guys. I don't want to be focused on as the guy that's, I'm not doing it for any kind of recognition at all. And I try to be quiet about what I do. Things I do within the building that nobody ever knows, it just gets done. The floors don't vacuum themselves. Loose banisters don't get screwed back into the wall by themselves. The organ doesn't get covered by itself. Little stupid things that I can still do that make a difference. Little small things. It broke my heart because then you see in that video, I didn't realize that the roof had started leaking. I knew it was leaking in the library, but then I realized that leak was dropping in on the Dewey Decimal System, our old Google system.
Yeah.
And it by the time I discovered it, somebody had told me about it. By the time I discovered it and was able to get there, I had to clean off all the plaster that had fallen from the roof, but it also, the water had settled on there long enough that all the veneer had cracked away and it became wavy, and it ruined the top of those cabinets. It didn't have to be that way. Somebody just thrown a tarp on top of it. Or in my case, I didn't have tarps, but I had a million trash bags, and I covered it up, and took the plaster off of it, and stopped any further damage. But that's not.
What was really upsetting was all them buckets in the different rooms, and you having to go and empty all of them out when they had, I think you said, two guys, one guy
Well,
some maintenance.
Here's the deal with that, and this is why it was such a point of dissension with me, is none of those buckets, when I got here, there was no buckets up on any of those floors. And I personally gathered every single one of those buckets up, had the kitchen saving buckets for me, and even bought a few from Walmart to bring in to try and start catching the water. As soon as I did that, I stopped the leaks from getting from the third floor down to the second floor down to the first floor, because I was going up there every time it rained, every time we had a heavy snow, and I was emptying the buckets. Now we fast forward to last year, they had a maintenance guy and an assistant that didn't want to go up there to empty the buckets. We had heavy storms last year in the early spring, a lot of rain, and I was having to empty the buckets sometimes twice a week. In this case, when we had 1.5 feet of snow, I emptied the buckets twice a day. As a consequence, I added up all the water that I dumped out the windows, and I came up with 880 gallons of water that I dumped out the window, catching them in buckets. Now, I'm an old man. 880 gallons of water at 6 pounds per gallon of water, with a bad heart and 30% lung capacity left.
Yeah.
I was kind of throwing the dice even doing it, but I figured if I died of a noble cause, maybe I'd get a cooler spot in hell for it. I don't know. But
I don't get it that they don't want to do that, but that's their job.
well, and not only that they want to do that, but then management sees the video, physically sees what it's not just me saying that they're neglecting their work, but showing them that they're neglecting the work. That video is spread out over 8 days, and you see day number 1 and you see day number 8 where I've had enough and I'm emptying the buckets and actually day 8, then you could see the results. Things started drying up after my effort. And I give them every opportunity saying, Bernie, delete that name. I didn't say that name. I'd say, buddy, go up and empty the buckets. And for days and days and days after I did it, I came down and I was about ready to die. I was huffing and puffing, and I'd spent 25 minutes probably up there dumping the room that you're talking about in the video. Came down and I was dying. And he says, oh, I was just getting ready to do that. I said, Bernie, I said, buddy, buddy, you had 7 days to take care of it, and you didn't do it. Instead, you're down there vacuuming and sweeping up water on the first floor. If your sink is overflowing in your kitchen, wouldn't you shut off the flow of water first before you started mopping the floor?
You'd think.
That person would.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he didn't want to deal with the bucket. So instead, he's looking like a hero that using a shop vac to suck up some water. It was so bad this time that it actually got into that's another thing too. The classroom that we were in, it's closed down now. That roof's about to cave in because it didn't get captured in time. But not only that, that water was so bad from the second floor, it flowed down directly underneath those rooms is the copy machine room. All the cases of paper, all the stuff that was on the floor got soaked. So they lost a bunch of stuff down there. All because
building on a registry.
It is.
That
I was going to
next.
say, I thought usually most times when they're on the registry, they can't be taken down for any reason.
Yeah, so if they're on the registry, the owners should be obligated and enforced.
Not true.
Here's
the stipulation, because I brought that up before too. Here's the stipulation with the historic registry. That's only if you take funds from them. They'll match. You bring them $1,000, they'll match that $1,000. You bring them $10,000, they'll match that $10,000. The owners have never taken a nickel from the historical society or the registry. They have not taken a nickel because once you do, then you're under contract to keep the exterior intact and you're limited. You have to go through hoops to change the interior. Them being businessmen and developers, they didn't want to be under that obligation, so they never took a nickel from the historical registry. So they're not obligated to the same rules. If they do, then they would be stuck, and they're not going to do it. Which I kind of wonder, and that's something a point that I didn't say, but I just out of question. Is that why the building is falling apart on the inside? Because if the whole building falls in, well, I guess we'll just have to remove it and build, a 20-story posh hotel.
Yeah,
changes everything about the registry. It's because I've always thought about the registry every single time when it comes to these places, and it just changes everything now from what I've learned.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Here's another thing that I had come up with 4 years ago when I first got back, because I was 2.5 years on the road tripping all over the United States, and I hope to get back to that here if I got enough time left. Hope to get back to that. But when I was on the road and got here and saw just in a couple of years how bad it had gotten, then I got in contact with a lady who actually came to one of my mayhem events, and she deals with philanthropists who have lots of money and want to share it for worthy causes and whatnot for whatever reason. And she had it lined up again that this group was interested in giving the monastery, even knowing the fact that it was a privately owned campus now because it was desanctified and sold to a private ownership back in 2001. knowing that, they knew that because of, like you guys are touching on now, because of the historic preservation, then then that money could be spent on preserving that building, regardless of who owns it from that day forward, that the roof would get fixed. So they had $1 million. I had $1 million lined up for them to that these people were willing to give with one stipulation. And again, could be a conspiracy that I didn't start it here, but um, they turned down that money because the one stipulation they had was that if they give them $1 million, they would have access to that account so that they could monitor that every nickel was going into the roof of
Right.
that building.
Yep.
Now that goes around and that circumvents the issue with the historical society, because these again are private people lending their or giving their money.
Mhm.
So they still wouldn't fall underneath that. Once you take the money from the registry, you're stuck. This was private lenders or private donations. They turned it down because they didn't want anybody snooping around in their books. So that
Mm.
makes me wonder what's in their books that they're
Yeah.
trying to hide.
Yep.
That's worth enough that they could afford to turn away $1 million.
I hear a how are we going to put this without saying anything? Political issue.
I think there's a lot of issues here, and I think there's a lot of things that are going to blow up when I leave.
Oh, but
Yeah.
here's the thing.
Red flags.
I can't get in trouble for this. So this is me saying it. This has nothing to do with it.
What?
I don't give a fat fuck what they do.
Okay,
If they get pushed down the stairs, if the spirit, decide all of a sudden, they know what they're doing, which they do know what they're doing.
hey, what do we do?
Absolutely.
I keep hearing some breathing or something.
I don't know.
Is it me? It's probably me. I'm just huffing for air now.
That
Yeah, even Robert says he could hear it too.
probably brush.
Okay, it's probably me. I'll move my mic a little bit.
Or me because
I
I'm
breathe
pissed,
loudly.
I don't know. But whatever the spirits decide to do, I have no problem with that. But they are not. It's obvious they are not going to save that building, no matter what. They're not going to save it.
No.
So if they're not going to save it, I hope that this is retrograde. This is I'm in bitch mode. Let them get their just desserts.
That's what I'm saying.
But don't you get involved in it.
Well, I'm involved. I'm the guy right now. And as I was sharing with the guys a little bit before too, maybe that's why. Cause see,
Haven't heard that.
Lauren, Ghost Granny. That is funny.
That in quite some
Right, Robert.
Maybe that's why I'm still on the face of the earth, because I needed to be here for the Abbey's sake and to take care and get the word out. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Cake pie? What?
He was saying when you said just desserts.
Oh,
Yeah, I eat pie. Pie and cake buys me pretty easy.
And Chris said this earlier.
do at the end of all of this thing is make those guys eat a lot of poutine pie. And Chris will understand exactly what I'm saying.
I think everybody understands except one, and we don't need to explain.
And Jan, I actually thought of you as a plan B, because I thought for sure. In fact, I was so sure I was getting completely thrown out that I started packing up my command. And fortunately, I think they rethought everything, and they're just going to make it as miserable on me as they can. But I'm pretty hard to razz. I've got I've got too many things going in my life that if I let everything bother me, I'd been dead a long time ago. I'm water off a duck's back. I just don't give a shit. I'm gonna I'm I'm at that age where I say things just to see what the response is gonna be.
That's me.
You know, yeah. I'm not afraid of you anymore. What are you gonna do to me? You
I'm
know?
at that age
Yeah,
where
I'm at the end of my life. Fuck you.
Yeah,
You
exactly,
know?
exactly. But I am buying myself some time here because I'm not ready to move. I don't have my ducks in a row yet, and my health. Everybody sees me smiling and laughing and carrying on, but they don't see the days that I'm just sucking for air and I hurt so bad I can't walk and you know I don't share that with people. That's part of my private life, and people
which
we
means
all
you
have we
should be
all have our
going down
things.
them stairs,
I'm sorry.
which means you should not be going up and down them stairs.
And I
No,
shouldn't be in I shouldn't be in a moldy mildewy building to begin with.
no,
You know.
no. And do you remember the story about him sitting in the hallway thinking he was dying?
Oh, that was when Abigail come and sat beside me.
Yeah, that's that things like that. That okay, so you did what you could for those spirits. Most of them are coming with you. I hate to tell you.
Well, I'm going to join them.
No, not anytime
Then
soon.
I'm untouchable. And I got a few things. I
I
got.
do want to ask you this. One, providing you can even answer. One, these buyers that are looking to buy the place, how long has that been on the table since the time that they've actually said yes, we'll buy it? And two, what is the building or the property really worth?
Well, the property in Colorado, anywhere right now, but Colorado especially,
Yeah.
they've got 200 acres of prime land. If there wasn't a building on here, 5 million bucks.
Colorado
Prime
is
land.
ridiculous.
But I think I haven't heard the exact figure, but I think it's selling for $18 million.
Wow.
But bear in mind, immediately, all these buildings are in disrepair and
Mhm.
different states of disrepair. The sister's house, the only reason it's not leaking is because it's got a 12-12 pitch. It's so steep that the water just goes down so fast it can't have time to leak into the roof. But there's basically no shingles left on that roof on the
They were
roof.
smart.
Yeah. But that's not the case with even the monastery. Really, the problem is not necessarily the roof. It's that if you look at the architect of the building, it's like I point out in my video. On the fourth floor, they got little balconies on a lot of the rooms, and when that snow and stuff starts to melt, it slides off onto those balconies. Then it gets 4 feet thick and starts melting, and then it gets into the cracks on the fourth floor ceiling and drains down through the walls which become the third floor ceiling, and it drains down the walls into the second and first floor. So what's happened is they need to get in and first case scenario, and it's what I again pointed out in that video. If they get out there and seal the balconies, forget the roof, just seal the balconies so that the water can't get in from the balconies, they would have probably resolved 70% of the water issues
Mhm.
just by closing off that means of access to the water.
That
I
make a
personally saw last spring, after I kept asking what's happening to my money, do I have to buy these buckets and bring them in myself, or so I saw 15 buckets of 5-gallon buckets of roof sealant be brought in. That was early spring. They put a guy up there to start putting on the sealant. He got the front of the building above the sacristy. He got the right outside the monks rec room, and half of that little balcony that you can get onto from the 4th floor. I think you guys were probably out there, and you could see the bell tower and everything from that
Mhm.
balcony. He did half of that, and my buddy, whose name won't be named, he pulled him off the job because uh, he said that he wasn't doing it right. Because he was just rolling the stuff over the old tar, which is fine to me. I would think it's better than no. You got to scrape all that old stuff off and then put it down, which probably make it last longer. I would think. But right now we're just trying to fix a damn roof from leaking.
Mhm.
Instead, he pulled them off, and they were going to get back up there, and then this priority came up, that priority came up. Oh, it's too hot. We can't be on the roof now and doing this stuff, and it never got done. And all of a sudden, those buckets disappeared. I don't know where they went, where they were taken, what happened to them, but they never got put onto that roof. And that's what I was bitching about in the video too, because I saw that stuff. And had I known that would have happened, I was a lot healthier a year ago. I would have helped roll some of that stuff.
Mhm.
And that's the whole point about those buckets. The buckets were working as long as I was healthy enough to keep them emptied. And this year I haven't been healthy enough. I haven't been, and you hear me again. If you haven't seen the video, you got to watch the video. Um, I'm I'm angry because of the fact I spotted all the leaks. I stood there and I spotted all the leaks and made sure the buckets were where they needed to be, where the biggest volume of water was coming in from. All they had to do was empty the buckets, and I say in the video, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it anymore. My heart, my lungs, and ultimately I ended up having to do it because I could see after the 7th day it wasn't going to get done unless I did it. Same thing with that door with the birch shit that you couldn't close that door. I don't. That's part. I put in a written work order a month ago. Told them verbally a month and a half ago to get that door shut. So I went in there, and while we're signing my new little contract, and they're telling me what I can and can't do in the building anymore, um, I said I was up on the 4th floor, and I did notice you got the door closed. Thank you. And he said, well, I did that a couple of weeks ago. Well, you know what? I had some people in there on Friday night, and while we were videoing, we were in that room, and that door was wide open, Bernie. Buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. We all take videos when we go there. You can't lie about shit that's recorded.
Right.
Yep.
So it's like
Robert.
weekend.
But
Weekend that. There we go. I'll start calling it
like
weekend that.
I did
Mr. Weekend that.
the Hawaiian shirts.
That's funny.
So overall, if there is a time for anybody just to stop by, this is it.
No, they're
Yeah.
not doing any more bookings right now.
Well, here's another thing. Before all this started happening,
Actually investigate and all of that, just driving through town. Because I am going to be coming through the area in the beginning, the tail end of June, beginning of July.
But that's the issue. Without him, we can't get in.
and see, they don't know that that's my plan. I'm just biding time right now. I actually have 2 investigations that I had listed today that go on into August. But I've since gotten a hold of them, said I'm not going to do them anymore because I'm making plans. I got to get out of here, guys. It's actually not fun for me to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I look at the building and it just makes me sad
Yeah.
because I put my heart and soul into this place, and this is how I get treated in the end.
Yeah.
Which is
And
fine. I understand it. I brought it on. I'm a big guy. I knew when I posted that video there was going to be some repercussion, and I accept that, and I take those bullets with honor if it gets things changed. But I don't think it will.
You
No,
would
I
think
won't.
that as an owner or even a manager, be looking at that video and thought, Wow, I did not realize things was that bad. That man should not be having to do all of that. You should be.
And paying rent to do it. Paying rent to do it. I pay rent to be here.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to pay for my RV spot here. And I do that because I always, again, it's about, for me, it's about
With what you're doing,
contributing to the Abbey.
with what you're doing, could that be tax deductible?
Taxes are kind of a funny situation for me because all my events, like I said, I took in $35,000 plus for the Abbey last year. But all that money goes through an account I have set up, and then I write a check to the Abbey after it's gone through my account. It's just easier to flow everything that way, and that way I still have control over who gets to investigate what's being investigated, and know that I have an investigation on Friday or whatever. Because before it was a clusterfuck. I mean, and I took it over. I've got everything ordered. So when you talk about taxes, and that's another thing I'm kind of concerned about last year because I made them so much money. I've talked to an accountant, and she's told me that I don't need to file. I haven't filed in 14 years because I've been drawing disability. And she says I don't need to file because none of that. I was a volunteer, and none of that money was kept. So, keep the paperwork, but you don't need to file. I don't want to draw any attention from the IRS on me. I don't want to deal with it in this stage of my life. And so as far as taxes, yes, it's probably a write-off. All of this could be a write-off. My rent and the equipment that I buy and purchase out of pocket is a write-off. But I'm retired. I got my means are being met, and I live very frugally, but I'm very satisfied. I like my life and I like my lifestyle. And it's a very simple lifestyle, and a lot of people couldn't live my life.
The people that are looking to buy the Abbey, what is the likelihood of actually going through and purchasing the building?
Well, and that I kind of digress because I didn't answer Jeremy's question. This has been going on for 4 years, supposedly. The employees had not had a raise, and they're all being paid minimum wage, eight something an hour. All the underlings, and they were told they couldn't have raises because the building was being sold. The building was going to be sold. The building is under contract. Blah 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 blah. Nothing's getting done. We're not putting money into the building because it's senseless to put in money into a building we're not going to own in 6 months. And that's been their song and dance all this time. And here we are 4 years later, and now they tried to throw that towards me too. I may have just screwed up this sale. Well, it seems to me that I would do it if every home I ever owned, I sent in an inspector before I closed on the property because I want to see what's going on.
Right.
If these guys are going to spend $18 million and don't send in an inspector, that's on them.
Yep.
So I didn't reveal anything that an inspector would not reveal.
Have they ever actually been there?
The owners,
The buyers.
I don't know. I do know that the actual general manager of the Holy Cross Abbey has not stepped foot on this ground since 2018.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
2018.
Jeez.
Why is that person the general manager?
And he was the same guy that in Bernie's words, when a weekend at boop, boop, a weekend at when he was telling me this story the other day, according to his quote, that managers they have no idea I exist. They've gotten rid of of me in the picture because I've always made that income come in, and they've claimed it's through our efforts, and we're running paranormal investigations now. My name was never mentioned. They have no idea that I'm paying rent here. So I'm a nobody, and all of a sudden this guy pops up this video calling him out. He's going, "What the hell? I ain't got time for this shit. Get rid of the guy." That's a quote from Bernie.
Mhm.
So they wanted to get rid of me from
No, I was just
the
thinking
Weekend
about it.
Act. Jesus. From that guy.
Yeah.
I've got another question for you. This one, if somebody else were to want to come in and think about buying the building, could that be possible?
I believe they're under contract, according to them, but I don't know what to believe anymore. There's been a song and dance going on for four years now. Do they have a buyer? Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows. And if the two people that are left here now know anything, they're not sharing it with anybody. And the funny thing is, when I posted the video, they've got Canyon City rant and rave, Fremont County rant and rave, and they were ranting and raving. The people were pissed, seeing what's happening here. And a lot of them have contacted me through private messages and whatnot. On an upside, there's people out there willing, even right now, willing to make donations and contributions, or come in and empty the buckets, or help me, take care of what needs to be done. But that's another liability. They don't want people in here.
Well, if they don't want anybody there, and if they are so concerned about liabilities, then really it would be on them to go to these teams that are already booked and say, hey, it's this or that. And it would be on them that if the teams decide, no, we don't want to deal with this, reimburse them.
And that's true too. The problem is I'm trying to save face for me. I've spent 50 years building my reputation and building it on integrity, and I believe that would be detrimental to my reputation, because I'm the guy. When Ghost Hunt USA pulled out a year ago and took everybody's money, and then I took over the people that didn't get the word out. I took and honored their investigations, the people that did show up, and I let them have their investigation because I oversaw it. Even though I had nothing to do with Ghost Hunt USA, I did it from the standpoint I wanted to save face for A, the Abbey, and B, being an enthusiast. A lot of these people were coming in from out of state and not being told that they weren't going to be able to investigate when they got here, and then they'd get here, and I wanted them to have a good time. So I took on their investigations to see them through. That's where I'm at now. Is they're not backing me on any of this other investigation. That's why I had to buy the insurance, or I'm going to have to tell Nick or Jeremy or whoever, you guys are going to have to pony up for the insurance. And to me, we're talking, like I said, it's now through July, it's going to cost me out of pocket $800. It's not worth my reputation to fight over $800. It's worth it to me to pay that insurance. And like I say, after July, I'm done. By that time, too, I have time to plan on where the hell my RV is going to take me next. And some of the places that I went in the past, I can't go back to anymore, only because of my health. I can't do altitudes anymore. So it's definitely, but there's a lot of southern and a lot of southern states and a lot of coastline that I'd sure like to go back to if I get the opportunity.
Oh, definitely being in the southern states would be good for your health. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I we'll see how this all plays out. But to get myself into a situation where they say get out. First off, I've got so much stuff in the monastery now um, that I'm not going to leave them now. I was going to give them everything that I had, the computers, all the um, cable. I've got over 2 miles of cable in there from hardwiring everything. I've got 30 cameras plus a stockpile of 6 or 7 cameras to replace as they burn up. I've got auxiliary floodlights. I've got equipment. I got stuff that I didn't have when I came here. And I came here in an RV and I'm going to leave in an RV. And there's only so much room in an RV. So I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to move stuff and get things stored and put away and that sort of thing. It's not like I could just pick up and drive away and say, okay, on to better days. Otherwise, I would. Plus,
Ways.
I have an obligation to those people that have booked with me personally. I owe them, and I will see good on our agreement, and I'll be here for them. But when I'm done and my obligations are done, I'm getting the hell out of here if I'm still able.
Robert's asking, is the winery still in operation?
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't affect the winery at all because they rent that building, so they do all the upkeep. They're a total separate business, and they put the money into the building, anything that needs to be done. They got a good, the winery is in great shape. And of course, it's not 100 years old either. We're talking that was built in the 70s, so it's not nearly in as bad a shape as this.
Excuse me.
But you,
Thanks.
I
We
my
got
first instinct is get the hell out.
Yeah.
well, I want to, but again, because of my people, I can't.
Yeah, but you've only got it what till the enigmatic.
Yeah, yeah. July, the last weekend of July, I'm done.
Yeah,
And
we basically have 4 months left.
yeah.
so yeah, and I'll catch up with people. I'm seeing messages come in the top here that I don't want to see. Um, the when I get ready to get out of here, I want to be able to. And what I did when I was on the road is pretty cool. And I've shared some YouTubes on it. If you guys ever travel and you're looking to hit the road or do something, I do all my road trip planning in Google Maps, and I've got Google Maps of all the states that I ever plan to go to. And if I'm on Facebook and I see a cool hot springs in the middle of nowhere, or a place to go metal detecting, or an abandoned building that I didn't know anything about, I put it on that map in that particular state. And then when I'm in that area, it pops up on my map and I say, wow, I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be spending the next 4 months doing, is building up and recompiling stuff in basically probably the Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico's kind of funny, Arizona type areas, and
No,
then
I tell you
probably
what.
I've got a lot of
If you
friends in Florida too, and Alabama, so that'll be where I'll winter.
well, if you decide to do that, you let me know. Not that when you decide, when you go, let me know. I have friends in Alabama that have amazing locations for you.
Nice.
I have
Indiana.
friends in
Illinois.
actually Kansas. I'm going there this weekend, which is why I'm cutting out early. But
I'm sorry.
I grew up there. Met my
I
husband.
lived there for a couple of years, and that I'm good.
There's actually a school there, real close to Lake in Kansas.
Excuse me.
It's called Red Bricks, Red Rocks, something like that. Anyway, I ended up getting full access to this building,
Nice.
and I can't wait to go see it. But it's one of those that's also not going to be around long. we have here, which Nick sorry, Nick has not been. Jeremy went to. It's the first. I don't even know anymore. Colored African American, whatever you want to call it.
Deerfield.
So it
Location.
must be down there by Nicodemus, the town of Nicodemus, because that was the first black city in actually the Midwestern states, and then they moved into Deer Path here in Colorado.
Yes, Deerfield, and
Deerfield,
that's what I'm talking about is Deerfield,
yeah.
where they just said, "This is your land. Do with it what you will. We're out," and they thrived. They did it amazing. We had went there. Jeremy and I went there, and they are now getting rid of that and making it a playground. I don't even know, but we got to go there before it did. Albeit mosquitoes ate us like you wouldn't believe because it had rained and it was terrible.
Kansas has got mosquitoes as big as 747s. They're the biggest damn mosquitoes I've seen anywhere.
It just
was terrible. It was terrible, but we got to see it, and that's probably the last time we'll get to see it because the Black Historical Society took it over.
Yeah.
And sold it.
Oh, that's too bad. Nicodemus is still alive and well, and it's down there by Hayes, Kansas.
I will definitely go there because we are right there.
It's such a friendly town, and I can't remember the name of the barbecue place. Ask me about the food places. I remember them well, except for the name. And she was just a sweetheart. But make sure if you ever get in that, it's right. There's not much to the town, but get that barbecue. I'm just telling you.
We're going this weekend. We're going to Lacon, Kansas, which is about this big, and Garden City, Kansas, which is where we grew up.
You're down in that neck
so
of the
big
woods.
now. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so big now. I want nothing to do with it. I don't even want to claim that that's where I grew up because it's just nasty.
Yeah, down there in Garden City, they've got the rock formation they call the 7th or 8th wonder of the world, and I'm thinking we got foothills bigger than that.
I grew up there, didn't even know about that. What I do know about is Dodge City.
The Giant is the 8th wonder of the world.
Wait, what is Jeremy?
Andre the Giant.
Oh, Andre, yeah.
Well,
Gardens. What, Chris? Seriously?
What
Meet
the?
me there. Come on. Meet me there. I'm leaving tomorrow. But we get to meet our granddaughter that we have not got to meet because when she was born, we had COVID, and it was like 2 weeks after we were supposed to go, and she was on oxygen. I was so scared I was still carrying it, and I just we didn't go. So we're going now for the other one's birthday. We'll be.
I found Lakin.
Lake is tiny.
And it has an extremely expensive hotel there.
Saturday, Chris, Saturday.
You're only about 45 minutes from Dodge City as well. Have you done anything in Dodge City?
I used to work in Dodge. My first job, and I'm so proud of this. Don't ask me why. My first job was the beef packing plant. And I used to, well, let's get real. I used to flush the shit out of intestines for tripe. I loved that job. I don't know why. It was the people. It was, I loved that job.
It sounded so shitty.
Yeah, I loved it.
Saloon girl.
One point, but I had the body to do it. I promise you. But yeah, no, it was. I love that place. Dodge City has so much history. I love that place.
Yeah, they redid when I was there. They were redoing the Dodge City Museum and stuff, and I hate when they do that because then you lose. it's not real
Yeah.
anymore. It's like going down to Tombstone. The OK Corral is not what you think it is. You get down there and it's a big disappointment. Birdcage is still cool. There's a lot to Tombstone that's very cool, but Dodge City has taken the same course. It's kind of been modernized.
It's been 25 years since I've actually went there, and Zach and I stopped on our way back a year ago, and it was closed, but it looked nothing like it did, and we just walked away.
Yeah, yeah. I actually shot quite a bit of video there and never used it for the fact that I wasn't getting anything authentic anymore. And I thought, again, that's why I went there. I love history. Hated it in school. I hated it in school.
Me
But
too.
now I thrive on it. I want to know the who's, what's, and whens, you know?
That's exactly the same way with me. I liked history for part of school as I got older, but before that I was kind of the same way, and now I live off history.
Yeah, yeah.
My history in school was what guy I dated before that I'll never date again. You don't repeat history. That was my history in school. Now I can't tell you dates. I can't tell you.
That's why you had Nick here to do that for you.
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, even even the history that I share at all the locations that I go, and if you look at my YouTube videos and stuff, my Wee Boondock channel, it's all my road trips and little things that I put together at different locations. And I know the history while I'm there, but
Right.
give me a couple of pies and a few miles down the road, I don't remember what I told you.
Right, and that's me.
And
Yeah.
That's for
one
all.
thing I will say though is I do my absolute best not to just get the information from the internet. We all know how that goes. I actually stop by the historical societies, by the museums as I'm on the road, and try to get the authentic the most authentic history that I can, and that's what I present to you guys in my streams, not just what I read on the internet, so I do my homework when I do present history, but I don't remember it anymore. I got some history myself.
European
There's-
history, U.S.
there's
history.
history out there, and a lot of it we're in danger of losing that history. Just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's a perfect example of that.
yep.
So,
It's just I say we got a Twitch viewer here from London.
European history, U.S. history.
Well, the way
I
I
couldn't
think
tell you about either one, sweetheart, but I can tell you about Bulgarian history.
It's just in my mind.
why does everybody find that funny?
Well, no, I was actually going to make a comparison.
I'm a puff.
Nick, Nick,
Yeah.
that reminds me. I got somebody I'm going to get you in contact with. I got a friend request from a Bulgarian who's a ufologist.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, now this I gotta see. I'd like to talk to the spirit. Does he actually live in Bulgaria, or does he?
He does. He lives in Sofia.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I definitely would like to talk to him then.
Yeah. I started talking to him in Bulgarian and realized, I've lost about half the language I used to know.
Yeah, that's
The only thing I can say anymore is, if you don't shut up, I'm going to slap you across the face. That doesn't
why is Brad not here? He's on.
You know,
I see him.
I-
not in here.
You know what? I have to say this real quick. Adrian, I heard your Alexa going off earlier, and I'm just thinking to myself, who the hell is Brad for that matter? That would have been an awesome moment.
I thought the same thing.
Jesus, whoever his Twitchies or his really giving up a
I was
talking a
tucked up
story.
in bed one night and felt a hand grab me around my neck.
There's more.
Sweetie, what's your religion?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah.
And that's not in a mean way. I'm asking you for a reason.
Well, no, I'm just reading some of the other comments. She's an atheist. I think it's a
okay.
she.
Okay. So willpower. You have to have your will very strong and tell it to go the hell away. You're not offending anyone. We're all different religions. Don't worry about it.
The biggest defense is just don't give in to the fear, regardless of religion or otherwise. You don't let them have the fear, and stand up to them because they can't harm you if you don't allow it. And so, do whatever you have to do, but don't give in to the fear. And eventually they'll get bored. You know, I've got one spirit here. He plays like he's demonic as hell. He's just a pissed off spirit. He's unhappy with what's happened to Willowthorne Hall, and he comes over and gives me grief about it. And I say, look, if we can't be civil about this, I'm not going to listen to you. He's called me every name in the book, and he's come at me several times in my live streams, and people hear what he's saying, and they see the physical attack, and I just stand there and take it and say, hey, look, I'm not leaving, and you don't scare me. And eventually he doesn't even pick on me anymore because he knows he can't rouse me.
Yeah.
And that's not giving in to the fear. And that's what you have to do. Yeah. Is don't give in to the fear.
The one that was giving me the chills there at the very end before I left. Because remember, I was on the top floor and I was getting Lucy because I was doing the picture stuff with Lucy, and I forget the name of that other doll that you had up there. But
Annabelle?
Maybe I don't remember.
The little Raggedy Ann doll, the Abigail.
Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
and I was going down the hall. Everything was already packed up, ready to go. I was going down the hall, and all of a sudden, it just cold chill came right over me. And you guys remember this? It was hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just felt ice cold.
Was Igmatic Explorers with you guys? Because you guys came with Mimi, right?
Right.
Yeah, we did.
This was not.
Okay.
No, they weren't with us this time.
Okay, then Mimi came back with the Igmatic Explorers a couple of weeks later.
No,
right?
we came with them before, and then they moved away.
The Igmatic Explorers? Okay.
Yeah, then
if
they
you
moved
recall
away.
then
Then
that night, I thought you were there. That night, remember he came in contact with the tall thing.
Oh, yeah.
The tall thing is still in there. And the tall thing has been seen by 6 other groups that had no idea and describe exactly the same thing without knowing what the others have saw. And it doesn't seem to be anything. I mean, just its size is intimidating and scares the hell out of you if you see it. But I don't think it's malicious. It does, however, keep the crawler in check. When that thing's around, the crawler's nowhere to be seen. So I think it's a good presence.
Did the others smell it?
Yes. There's been several different descriptions of the smell. It all comes down to an unpleasant smell.
Yeah.
But not an overpowering unpleasant. You know, we got a few of
was,
those too.
Definitely who the hell in front of me farted.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Dennis, I have been meaning to ask you, have you ever been able to cut out that clip of the shadow you said you caught after we did the fog experiment?
Oh God, I've slept a few times.
Chris,
if I did, I would have it in my files. I'll have to check for you. I can't check now because they're in the building. But I want to make sure I get a backup of everything in there because there's a lot of great great files just in case something does happen. And I'll probably do that this weekend because I have that group going in to do their investigation. So I'll back up my computer. But I can't tell you, Jeremy. I don't know. I still like what you guys did that night with the fog and everything that, and we attempted the same thing later on using your method. Um, and I can't say that we had anything spectacular happen, but it's a great out of the box idea, and I want to try it more often.
Jeremy's
Biggest thing with the fog machine is my lungs. I can't be around it. You know,
Yeah.
I can't. I have to watch everything from video.
Oh yeah, you gotta be real careful with it. Not only that, but it can also set off all the smoke alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll
So-
check, and if I've got it, I'll for sure send it to you because I remember if nothing else, everything that when I'm streaming on Twitch, it also streams to YouTube and Facebook.
Mhm.
So if you go back into my YouTube archive, you'll probably have that whole video, that whole investigation.
Yeah, I have
And you
pictures
can
of
clip it yourself,
So this
unless it was an
YouTuber-
individual camera. What's that?
this YouTuber, where are you from?
It's a Twitch viewer.
Okay, Twitch. What is knob cheese?
Okay.
Please
Yeah,
explain.
she said that she's in London.
Okay, so explain in English terms, please. What is knob cheese? Because knob to us is something completely different. We're not going to go there.
I was just thinking that knob cheese. It did sound kind of British.
Okay.
I think it's talking about farts.
And I'm just thinking, I don't see anything that you guys are talking about.
So this Ava Puff said, "Smelly ghosts, my knob cheese."
The knob cheese.
And then right above it, Chris is talking about that he farted.
Yeah.
I
I don't know how I'm a
wasn't
pup
there.
was able to see it.
He's kind of going along with that, along with what you guys are talking about with the sulfuric smells in the basement. You were saying you were
No, I'm telling you, that was the nastiest smell. And then he actually went down. Dennis went back down. We stayed up there. We're like, we're not going back down there. And he went down by himself and still smelled it. It
Yeah,
didn't follow him around like it did.
yeah.
It didn't follow us around because we left.
It wasn't a smell like that when we came in, was there?
There was not.
It was a like a rotten egg smell.
It was disgusting. And you know, if anybody else it's it's demonic. No, it's trying to get you away from it, whatever it is. It's I did not feel demonic. I did not feel I can't say I didn't feel threatened because I didn't go down there. Because I thought he farted and we went back upstairs.
And that was the very first time I'd ever heard anything about a tall guy being down there. We never had any reports, but since then we've had several confirmations. So there's something down there. In fact, Sean saw it. My psychic sidekick. You know, he saw it, but he saw it in the ceiling. And I've got some cool. I wish I was at my computer because I was just in there one day shooting random photographs, catching some of the weird lighting and stuff through in different rooms and whatnot. So I spent a couple of hours in there taking photographs, and I got down to the first floor and realized I didn't open up the double doors in between, because I was clear back by the chapel. And yeah, Misty's group saw him when she was here.
I am so glad we're not the only ones. I really am.
And that's what Paul and Andrea or Angie are coming back to do, is to do a documentary, and that's why they're spending a week here, is to try and document that. So they're my very last investigation here in July.
That's an awesome group to have, because he's the one I thought farted until he cleared that up.
Yeah.
But he's honest.
Do you have a team on your schedule on the 5th and 6th of July?
Of July?
Yeah, 5th and 6th.
No, I've got it on the 26th and then the last weekend. So I don't have anybody on the 5th and 6th.
Okay. Because the reason I was asking is that I'm going to be leaving Vegas on July 5th. I'll be coming back to Denver. And I figured if you had access to the building on the 5th or the 6th, I'd swing by.
Well, I still have access, but now I have to get Daddy's permission. So that's okay.
What?
I mean, if you want to do an investigation, I have to charge for it. Because
No,
now.
I'm not going to be able to do it. Actually,
But we can go in and we can do a tour. How's that? If you want to get in there and do some stuff.
well,
If you want to do it, Jeremy, let me know. I will meet you there.
I'm supposed to meet Jennifer.
See, here's another thing that's happened, and I didn't even discuss that. This will be my last mayhem here at the Abbey. They've taken the Sisters House, and my mayhem events is an invitation. I invite people from all over the United States. I was hoping you guys would get in there, but by the time I even had a chance to offer, the tickets sold out within 23 hours.
Wow.
And what we do is it's a 3-day investigation. We all stay at the Sisters House, and the first night's kind of a meet and greet, and then we'll go over to the Abbey and just kind of do a general walkthrough. And then Friday night, we do a full-on investigation of their Ullathorne Hall, the cemetery, and of course the Sisters House as well. And then Saturday, I would have conferences and have speakers or special things planned. And then Saturday night would be a full night of investigations. At any rate, I was getting the Sisters House, and it was costing me $650 a night to rent the Sisters House. And then of course everybody there's 15 rooms, so spread out between everybody. We had no problems on paying for the Sisters House rental. So it's like $1,800 for 3 days for the rental on the house. So I paid them that. Now what they've done is they've increased the price from that $650 to $1,100 plus a mandatory $495 cleaning fee. I can't afford it, and I can't.
$1,100.
Yeah, on top of.
Yeah, no, they're not going to get that.
And I
So
said,
they tripled their price.
I'm sorry.
They basically tripled their price.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I don't get any discounts anymore, despite I'm bringing in people.
No, they keep it.
So the whole place has changed. The management situation. Again, they're trying to control. Another thing too is they're trying to control how much I start charging for the investigations, because apparently they don't think that the $600 is enough. Well, then you take it over. I don't care. I'm not charging anymore. I raised the prices last year after 10 years. I was forced to raise them up only because they needed more money, and B, I started taking out that 30% to pay my people to help. People like Misty, you saw her, and Sean and other people that helped me out with the events and whatnot, to make it fair for them, because they're having to drive 4 hours to get here, and gas and everything else. So at any rate, the price went up to $600. So now they want to raise it up to $750, and they're cutting me out of a lot of the pie too. Now they're taking, for instance, Misty is working for another company now, and I won't name them, but who will be coming in here and doing investigation. Booking under me, they would have fallen underneath my insurance, and now they're forcing them to get their own insurance because they're not going through me. They're going to take that away from me, and fine. they can host it too, because I won't show up those nights,
Yeah.
and they can stay here from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m.
Yep.
I'm not gonna. I'm not getting paid to,
No.
or not reaping any benefits. You want to pay me? It'll go towards my insurance. I have to pay for you. You know.
Yeah, I don't. I don't see that. I don't see that going very far. I really don't.
Things have gotten really shitty here, and there's a lot of games going on, and I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience, and I'm not going to worry about it either, because I got bigger things. It's going to take a lot more than this,
Yep.
before you start owning spots in my head.
That's it. That's I'm not even 50 yet, and I'm at that point. I'm like, you know what? Screw you.
Well, you know what I think it is. Things happen, and I'm a true believer. Things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And what this
Yep.
is saying, Dennis, you've done a good job here, but it's time. Go
Mhm.
enjoy yourself.
Mhm.
Go enjoy yourself. Do what you want to do, and that's
Right.
how I'm taking it. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of whatever I got left.
That's it. That's it. And just for the record, we have 3 empty bedrooms upstairs,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
and I would love to sit and visit with you for however long you want to be here.
Well, I'm a talker. I'm a
And
talker. Everybody knows that.
that's quite all right. That's quite all right.
So yeah. And then when I was 5, and I just go on from there.
That's, you know what? That's how we learn.
Yeah.
You don't get history. You don't get, people's.
The best history you get are from the mouths of people who experience it.
And I always said that too. It's a crying shame as a paranormal investigator. If you want information, and they would love to have you, go to a retirement home.
Yep.
Go to the people that are there that the grandkids don't visit them anymore. Their kids don't visit them. They want to talk. They just want to share their stories. And they've got so much knowledge and so much history, and they would enjoy sharing it with somebody,
And they do. And I worked at a nursing home. I worked at a few. I couldn't do it simply because I would clock out. I would be there all night till they passed because nobody else was there. I couldn't do it. They told me you can't do that. You cannot be on the premises after you clock out. I said, so who else is going to? I'm not going to let these people die alone. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't work there anymore. But they do come visit me. They come say hi, and I am completely grateful for that. So
yeah,
I'll take it.
But that's it. You go to these small towns, and oftentimes, I just wander in, see a guy sitting in a wheelchair getting some sun.
Yep.
And sit down beside him and say, how's it going? And then let him lead the story.
Yep.
Lead into whatever he wants to talk about. And just listen. And that was one of the best parts of me being on the road for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I avoided the big cities at all costs. And I stayed off the highways, the major interstates and stuff. I always ran parallel with them, maybe on a frontage road. But if I saw that old barn or that old building or that lake and I wanted to stop, I wanted to be able to just pull my RV in and do whatever. Or every little town that I came to, every little town's got something unique about that town. Or maybe it's a person that you'll come in contact with that's got an amazing story that don't think that they're anybody special, because it was just something they did in their life that was amazing.
Yep.
And they never get to tell their story. I was the guy. I would sit there and buy them a cup of coffee, buy them lunch, or hang out and fold laundry in a laundromat and listen to them tell stories.
Yep.
And those were some of the best times I ever had in my life.
It is. And that's a story that I always remember. There was a guy in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and he was homeless. And I worked at IHOP at the time. And he would come in, and he was so funny. He must have known, because he came in. He said, I got this from the dollar store in their dumpster, and I thought of you. I'm like, what? What? And he gave me this little broom, a cinnamon broom. It's about this big. I still have it.
Wow.
And I thought, what am I going to do with this? You know what? It smells good. I don't care what I do with it. So I hung it on the wall. And he said, I would always buy him biscuits and gravy every morning. I don't care what. And most of the times he'd refuse it. But one day I sat down with him, and he says, my wife died of cancer. I owned a trucking company. I was like, what? He said, I gave up after that. He said, I just want to be with her. Okay. All right. I understand that. He said, so I live in a tent back here. He ended up in a tent in Walmart, at the back of Walmart, and it was just a gully. And he would have his little sign out there, and it said, God bless the USA, and it had a flag on it. And he said, it said, anything helps. So after talking to him for so long, I said, you know what? It's Thanksgiving. Why don't you come to my house? He said, I would love to come to your house, but I've been invited by 4 other people. I was like, that's awesome. He didn't come, but he did come to IHOP every time I was there. And come to find out, he ended up dying in his tent. But he always told me, he said, all I want is to be with my wife. That's all I want. I was like, okay, well, one day you will be. And he was not old enough to die. He wasn't. Yes, he was in his 60s, coming on to his 70s, but he was healthy. He gave up.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
you know, they found him weeks later. Nobody went to go check. He never told me where he was. I knew he was around there, but I didn't know where. But, you know, he is somebody I will always remember, because he got to do what he wanted to do.
That's kind of how I imagine my demise. They're going to find me in the RV somewhere, and I become cat food for this ornery cat.
They do say cats are a little cantankerous. I had a neighbor that happened to, but she had 4 of them. But, you know, to me, if that's my animals until somebody can take them, that's perfectly fine, because I'm not in there anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually have a house about 5 or 6 houses down from me that direction, where an old lady had died in it. Her children never came in and checked on her until somebody found her about 5 or 6 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It was bad.
Yeah, that'd be me. And you know what? That's okay, because I'm not there anymore. Whatever happens to that part, it is not, I don't care.
I'm already at another dance in my tuxedo waiting for the woman.
Yeah, that's it. I don't care what happens there.
So, yeah. Yep. So
it's a shame what's going on with the Abbey. I'm going to hate to see that go.
Yeah, so do I.
Go from there. But ultimately, you need to do what's best for you.
And I refuse to give to something that wants to treat people that way.
Well, and you know, the whole thing was, I thought the money was going to the right place. I have no idea where the money went. I have no idea. It obviously didn't go into restoration.
Yeah,
I know that.
And that's the bitch in me, because it's not happening. We thought it was going there as well, because that's where normally it goes, is to the upkeep or the electric or whatever. of the property.
Ongoing maintenance.
Yeah. And that's why we do it. And you know, Jeremy and Nick will tell you, I'm constantly talking about the Abbey.
Yep.
A lot of people do. A lot of people, this is still a best kept secret in Colorado. You know, not a lot of people really know the whole, everybody knows the Stanley Hotel, but this is by far a whole lot better experience, I think.
It's sold too. It's sold too.
Yeah, yeah. But everybody
it's
knows
no
the
longer-
name, you know, nobody knows the Abbey. And
Right.
and it's become more of a hot spot just over the years with the YouTubers that I've hosted here and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I've had some pretty big names come in here. Chad Lidberg with the Supernatural and Fast and Furious, and you know, Overnight Paranormal. They've got a YouTube following of 6.6 million people, so they're
Right.
pretty well known.
Yeah.
And they're amazing guys. The Twin Paranormal, you know, big name in their own right, big name YouTubers.
Chris,
And they
I'm gonna
brought,
whoop your ass.
what's that?
Well, what did he say?
I'm gonna whoop
Wait,
your ass.
where is this Abbey?
Yeah.
Tell the spirits the developers are the bad guys and haunt them as much as possible.
Yep.
Exactly. That's
I
what
don't
I
have to
was
tell them.
saying.
They know.
About
They
sister.
know. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
and here's the thing. Yes, a lot of people don't know, but I went to the Stanley. I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Is there spirits there? Sure. I'm sure there is. But they're not kept. They're not
If you knew
like,
when Callie was there 12 years ago, and then Lisa Neihart took over after Callie left. They were the in-house paranormal investigators, and that's back when they still welcomed paranormal investigation. But then the owners of the Stanley said, "Wow, this is quite a good little moneymaker here. Let's take control over the investigations and stuff. So we're not going to allow you to do private investigations anymore. We're going to run private tours through here. And a lot of the stuff that you have happen and the experiences you have it happening now are done by hydraulic doors that open by themselves. You know, it's smoke and mirrors. And
With the door down there in the basement of that one small little building.
over in the
He opened it up, and after about 35 seconds, it starts slowly shutting.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly.
But they won't let you go into the tunnel that it enters, because then you'll see what's causing that door to do its little thing.
Yep.
And they're hoping that it scared you enough that you don't want to look behind that door. So that you don't get that. I've been in and out of that place. In fact, when I was young, I grew up in Louisville, a little town about 40 miles down the mountain from just outside of Boulder there. And I would go up to ski. And after we got done skiing, the Stanley Hotel was still in disrepair. It was back in the days that before they did The Shining. And so we'd play cat and mouse with the security guards. We'd break in and we'd hear them up on one floor, and we'd go running to the other end of the floor. And we'd do that just about every time we went skiing. We skied a lot.
Mhm.
But every time we were up in that neighborhood, we go fuck with the guards at the Stanley. Now, since they've remodeled it, rebuilt it, and it's a beautiful, I highly suggest anybody that comes to Colorado, gets to Estes Park, go see the Stanley. You got to see the Stanley. But don't waste your money on a ghost hunt. Don't pay $500 to stay there for a night in one of the rooms, and don't eat a meal there, because for a family of four, it's going to cost you $500.
When I was and actually, we already knew that, because I mean, my family and I already knew that, because we did make a visit to the Stanley Hotel, but that was, of course, back when I was still in middle school, like back in 2000. It was like 2006. Yeah, 2006 that we went then. But and even back then, almost 20 years ago, it was still expensive as hell. It really was. So we did the exact same thing. We just visited it, checked out the location, and then we walked down. Did
Because
not
they
even
allow
make it
you
a
to walk
place.
through it and stuff. I mean, you don't have
Yeah.
to get a room to.
Exactly.
Or they used to. I can't say what they do now. The same company that owns it now, they were the ones that bought the Colorado hotel up in um, Glenwood, where Doc Holliday died. Um, they also own the St. James Hotel down in Cimarron, New Mexico. So they're all
Mhm.
part of that collection now.
Yep.
Did that
But
Yep.
again, it's about dollars and cents. They could care less about ghost hunts. They care less about the history. It's about money.
Yep.
Money talks.
It is. Okay, guys, I have to go pack. So I'm going to say this again, and I really, yeah, I'm that bitch. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. And we're here. Let's go explore.
And that's where I'm at. That's the plan. Yeah.
Let's go explore. I got you. Let's go do this.
Just the idea of leaving now is so refreshing to me. And, it gives me. I'm feeling better about everything. Just to be relieved the burden.
Yep.
And
There you go.
And I've done it out of a place of love. I have no complaints about anything that I ever did here. I
That's
just feel badly that this is how it ends.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, and I think, like I said, some of them are going to go with you, and that's okay. They're the ones they're the good ones that are going with you. The ones that have a vendetta, well, I feel sorry for whoever has it, or whoever comes in, because those unexpected people, mark this show, because it's going to be on whatever channel decides to put it on there about what happened. It's going to happen, and that's okay. But
well,
for the rest of it,
I have, in fact, she's going to call me after we get done here, a news station, KOAA Channel 5 here in Colorado Springs, that saw my video and contacted me like the day that I posted it. And that's another thing too. A lot of people have seen that video. I think I've got 17,000 views on that video now.
oh yeah,
And I'm a small channel, I got 1,000 subscribers plus, and a lot of people have viewed that video, and a lot of pros or cons, I don't care, but a lot of people have taken a side.
yep. That's awesome. But the thing is, we all met for a reason, and everybody you've met is for a reason, and that's okay. That's whatever religion you are, soul contracts, destiny, whatever you want to call it, it happens for a reason. Now, tomorrow, we got to leave at 6 a.m, and Zach gets to meet all 7 grandkids at one time.
Nice.
This should be fun.
Nice.
He has none of his own,
Oh,
so this is going to be fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have a safe trip. Yeah. Enjoy.
We're definitely going to try, and when you're done, you let us know, and let's go explore.
Yeah, you betcha. I'm all about it.
Let's do this.
And I might even bring the pie.
You know what? If not, I'll make it.
That's even gooder.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but we'll try. All right, y'all.
Very good. All right.
All right, Chris, come
Yeah.
see me, text me, and y'all have a good night.
Thanks. See ya.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
we'll see you next week, Adrian. And the same thing for if you get around to northern Indiana. Yeah, just hit me up.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm in the Fort Wayne area.
Okay.
And then I'm sure Nick will feel the same way if you get it around in the Chicago area. Just hit him
What? Wait, what? Sorry, I just put my headphones back on. What was that?
when he goes on his road trips.
I get to your neck of
yeah.
the woods.
You
Just make
come
sure
out
I got
too.
a bulletproof vest, right?
Just depends exactly where you are in Chicago. Like where I'm at, it's a pretty safe area.
Just making sure there.
If Queensland is ever on the list, in Australia.
Come park at your place, come in and visit for an hour, come out, and the RV's got no wheels.
Yeah, come see us. Right, we got Resurrection Mary here.
There you go. Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey, who knows? She might even hitch a ride with those that are following you.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, I got some time left here and be able to do all I want to do. We'll see. And
No, we hope that's the case.
yep.
Hope so. Sorry, I tried my earbud.
Shut up.
Oh, here it is.
I just now realized that my microphone is laying down behind my monitor.
You're actually doing pretty well. I think
There we go.
I noticed Adrian's. She probably had to squelch a little bit because she kept cutting out on me a little bit. Did you guys notice that?
I noticed that she kept getting out of sync, and then it.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Sure,
Yeah.
right.
Internet. Blame it on the internet. I didn't do it.
Actually, she does have issues where she's at from time to time, especially when the weather hits.
Tom just brought up another place, we have here in the Chicago area. You can go to
That's pretty
Batchelor's
cool.
Grove Cemetery. You could say you own it.
Yeah. Yep. Been a bachelor all my life. Yep.
Adrian's always out of sync. Jan's right on that. Oh, and yeah, she also wanted to tell you she's got New Mexico and Arizona.
Oh yeah. I thought a lot about you, Jen, because I would think if I had to bug out in a hurry, that's where I was going to go. So, yeah, keep that door open for me.
So we
And,
got.
and,
Huh?
and I plan on going down that direction anyways, regardless of how soon I get out of here. I definitely want. She's got some places down by Skywalker Ranch and stuff like that too that would be fun to go to
Sky. That's a.
in Utah.
No, I thought it was Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker. There you go. That's it.
No,
Yeah.
I was going to say Skywalker.
I'm thinking, Luke, I am your father.
Star Wars there?
It's a Skywalker Ranch.
Luke, I am your father.
Skinwalker Ranch is up north.
Yeah, it's up in Utah.
Yeah, like in the Utah area. As far as Skywalker Ranch, maybe in the Star Wars world, but not in real life.
But this past summer, Jan was up in Utah, that corner, right? So
I've always wanted to go to Skinwalker Ranch. I've
actually,
heard so much about it.
Twin Paranormal have a house up there, and they've invited me to just come crash up there if I want to hang out.
Wow.
So I got options. I got a lot of friends. I've been doing this for many years. Probably been doing this, and a lot of you guys are old. 50 years is what I've got under my belt doing paranormal investigating. So I know a lot of people in a lot of places, and so I have options. It's just I want to make sure my ducks are in a row and things are taken care of in my mind correctly here. And part of that is
That's always good.
yeah. So
Oh, jeez, Chris.
Southern.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment on that either.
Yeah.
But no, this is what I was going to show. Really good Southern barbecue place in Pueblo.
Well, why don't I know anything about that? Yeah, El Camino, Real Trout. That's what I say. She lives in a lot of cool places down there.
Yeah, she does.
and what her husband does for a living, I guess they move around, and she's a fellow RVer a lot of the time too. So that would be fun to meet up and hang out with them for a while. And she's a sweetheart. Everybody knows that. So, um, but yeah. So we'll see what the next few months brings. But very sad. It's not going to be good for the Abbey. Um, changes are not good here.
It's sad. It's sad for me, especially due to the fact, like you were just talking about, the history of this place, and if you remember too, like late last year, week before we showed up, I did a Nick Files on the Holy Cross Abbey. How frequent is a place like that featured on a lot of these podcasts, unless you're actually going, or
Right.
if you get the idea. So it was a rarity that I even had the honor to do a presentation on the history of this place.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. Again, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Now we're about to lose it.
Yeah, well, things happen for a reason, but unfortunately, this is kind of a pretty bad reason that we're losing something like that.
These are bad reasons. These are stupid reasons.
Stupid reasons. I would say.
I know I'm not the first to say this, but it's just another primary example. Like you look at Europe and you see all those places that are like over 300 plus years old. And
Ireland. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm about to say. I know I'm not the first. It's nobody cares here.
There's another thing about the places that they build over there in Europe is that they built those things to last.
Yeah.
The stuff you see here in America, even the well built stuff.
Really.
Hundreds.
The star of the show.
Stuff built in the 1800s that are well built. They are not built as well as the stuff that you see in Europe.
Yeah, you got a good point. Yeah.
Well, castles that have been standing for 1,000+ years.
Here's my argument about here. You go to Ireland. You even go United States. You'll go back east, and you'll see barns have been standing for 300 years. You go to no, he does not. What's that? No, he doesn't have any of them. He does not have any of them. He's been taken care of for my safety. but that's been my argument all along. Ireland, you got 800-year-old barns still standing, and that's because they kept a good roof on it. If you keep the water out of the building will stand forever.
Yep.
But if that roof goes and that water starts getting into the building, you're done. And that's where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's nonetheless, it's still a shame to see something like that go. Cattywampus.
Yeah. Cattywampus. And I have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in here. And I keep harping on it because it's just the fact that I didn't do it for any kind of personal gain. It's always been for the good of the Abbey.
You've got a decade and a half in it. You have a right to harp about it.
Definitely.
That's a generation's worth of time you've spent in there.
Yeah. And who's to say that part of my lung issue isn't due to that? I mean, in reality, but I'm not going to blame that on anything. I'm not. It hasn't been helpful, that's for sure. But I've given my life to this for 14 years, for sure. So it is what it is, and it's okay. Like I say, I'm looking at it from the perspective that
it was a passion.
Mm-hmm. I would die in this parking lot had this not happened, because I've become very complacent, and I probably wouldn't move, but now I'm being motivated to have to move. And maybe that's the nudge that I needed to go do things for Dennis again, things that I want to enjoy before I finally get to become one of the spirits, you know.
Right.
Um, and so I'm taking this from that aspect that's the positive that I got to take away. I've done my work, I've served it well, but it's time for me to take care of me. So
You've earned it.
I've earned it.
Yeah,
I've
you
earned
definitely did.
Yeah.
You really did.
Uh, well, what we will do is maybe one of these days when you're on your excursions around the country, we'll get you back on the show while you're on location somewhere.
You bet.
Yeah,
Or send me to a location. Say,
Yeah,
hey, what are
can-
you doing in? If you're in Texas, go to wherever. We want to see what this looks like, and I'd be happy to go.
You know what? I was just thinking, because, you know, like when you were suggesting other like ideas like for my area, here's one other idea, Jeremy. Crown Point Jail.
That would be a good place for you
Yeah.
to
Yeah. That would be awesome.
place for you to go.
You'd be able to investigate with both of us then.
Yeah.
All right, so
Coolio. So if you saw Sir X's mentioning down there, my code word, I remember when the Constantinos and that tragedy took place, and everybody was beating them up because there was somebody trying to channel them the day that they all died, and how horrific that was. I'm all for it, guys. When I kick the bucket and you guys hear about it, you're welcome to try and get in touch with me. And the way that you'll know that you're speaking me directly is my code word is brass monkey. So if you hear the words brass monkey come up in an EVP, you know it's me.
Chris. Yeah, Chris.
I don't know what brass monkey means. My dad was in the military, and he used that term a lot. And like if we were working on a car together, he'd say, hand me down a 5/8 inch wrench. And inevitably I'd grab that wrench and it'd fall out of my hands, hit the manifold, bounce off the starter, and hit him right between the eyes. And he'd say, Dennis, goddammit, you could screw up a brass monkey.
Yeah,
Again,
Robert just made a good point. Just don't say that to Hoff Paranormal. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, that's
yeah. Somebody said there's a song called or band or something named Brass Monkey, but this goes way back before that, back in the '60s.
Yeah, this is Beastie Boys. Apparently, what Jill said.
Okay.
Well, Dennis, we are at the end of the show.
Hey, it was fun, guys, as usual. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad that you're both doing well. Yeah.
Great having you on here again. We'll definitely try to get you back on here again while you're on the road somewhere.
You bet. Yeah, that would be fun. And like I say, you're free to suggest where I go. And I mean, people tell me where to go all the time. Especially here lately. So, yeah, cool.
Oh, here's what Robert had said. Brass monkey is a cannonball holder. It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Okay. It's like a parbuckler, the barrel handler on a ship. I never knew that, but
apparently.
Yeah.
Next week, we are going to have Catherine Bjork on the show. She is an animal whisperer.
Oh, yes. That's the one I got to be on early, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I am going to be doing Guardian training at the VFW for the Honor Flight. That's coming up in 3 weeks. So I get to go do all of that.
Nice.
So and that will be episode 99.
We're almost there. Oh my God, Chris just asked.
Yep, that will be episode 99.
We're almost there, everybody. 100.
Woohoo!
So, for everybody out there playing along, thank you for playing along. I screwed up. And also a little teaser for you guys. next month, 13th Dimension is coming back.
Oh, it is coming back. That's awesome.
Next month, 13th Dimension is coming back. Just a short run, but coming back nonetheless. So meanwhile, Dennis, Ghost Gramps, thank you for being on here again.
You bet.
And we'll have you back real soon.
Yeah, have you back while you're on vacation somewhere.
Nice. Yeah.
No, a
Hopefully
lot of
soon.
on the dark side of the planet. Yeah, no, Robert's right on that. We are on the dark side of the planet. Pickle Tom, we're just about to end things.
Hop on over to the other show, Myth or Mystery. They just started now. I had the pleasure of being a special guest panelist last week. Had a lot of fun. Great show to watch. So until next week, you guys take care.
Good night.
Thanks, guys. See ya.